Hello, everyone. This is Franklin Salis, and I'm here with Tracy Williams Barnett, and we're back with Joe Dawson. Hey,
Yes.
Joe.
Hello.
And Kelly Harwood, who is our peanut
Yay,
gallery,
Kelly.
also keeping
The Kelly Harwood.
the Kelly Harwood.
Yes.
What do you love most about Kelly? Tell us,
her,
Joe.
Her
What do you mean?
optimism, probably.
Aw.
That's
She-
sarcasm.
She's also
And
like,
sarcasm? Kelly, you have sarcasm?
Yes. Oh, man.
I didn't know that.
did you ever read the book Relentless?
No.
Did you? Okay, she's a cleaner.
Oh.
Yeah, Kelly's a cleaner.
Ooh.
Do you want to expand on that?
They just execute. They just get things done. There's a person you go to when you need to get things over the hump.
Yep.
Right?
That describes Kelly.
Joe
am I
and
right?
Kelly are a great team.
Yeah, Joe and Kelly. So how did we meet, Joe?
We met at the office at
Mhm.
one point, and then
We all went to happy hour together.
I made the first move, and I was like, Tracy,
Ooh, you made the first
Franklin,
move?
Damn, Gina.
can I take you guys to drinks?
He sure did.
I put myself out there. You know what? I shot my shot, and luckily you guys showed up.
I think I was first.
Yeah, and
Oh
Tracy
my
showed up,
God,
and she had an ear infection.
I did. You remember that?
Yeah, and you couldn't hear out
Oh
of one of
my
your ears, and it was a
gosh.
very loud bar.
That's right. We
It's
went to
kinda
American Ice.
gross.
Yep.
American Ice.
Yeah.
I recall.
I was like, this will be quiet.
My
No.
ears
At
was
5 p.m.
impacted, and I
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah, that was a good
have
time.
it.
How'd you meet Joe?
I just saw his picture, and I was like, "Ooh, who's that?"
Yes.
You know, talk about men.
Okay.
So,
You have commented on Joe's looks a lot.
It's who can
so the
deny
sk- the
it?
skin
I mean,
routine
we're
is
on
working.
video, so everyone can see for themselves. And he's a smart man, and I work with Joe a lot. And I will say that he's very empathetic. He's very caring. He takes the time to educate his clients, which is very important to me. I like to teach my clients how to fish, and education is a big part of that. And you take the time to expand your knowledge,
Yeah.
offer creative financing opportunities for them,
Legally.
and legally, of
Yes.
course, absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. Let's get into some fun stuff.
Yeah, so wait. Joe
What?
helped 2 of my clients.
Okay.
And both have been very we're very pleased with the
The
experience.
service is amazing.
Yeah, service is fantastic. Highly recommended. So I want to do a little game with you today, Joe.
Ooh,
Okay.
Playing games today?
Playing a game.
Okay, let's do
It's
it.
called Approved or Denied.
Ooh.
Okay.
I just started a OnlyFans
Okay.
business.
How long ago?
Okay.
6 months.
6 months ago. Okay.
And I'm making $10,000 a month.
All right. Were you in that line of work previous
Um,
to OnlyFans?
taking pictures of my feet? No.
All right. So in that situation, you would not be denied, but we wouldn't be able to use any of that income.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Wait.
No.
Is it 1099?
Yeah, I'm an independent
So-
contractor.
Is it time period? Is that why?
It's the time period.
So how
Okay.
long?
So let's just say you were in that type of industry before. I'm
Mhm.
trying to think of another company similar to OnlyFans that you'd be doing that on for, 2
A
years
shoe
before.
salesman? Person?
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
This is
But
gross.
if you,
Why are we talking about
I know,
feet?
think about feet.
OnlyFans for feet?
It's for
But-
humor.
But if you don't have 2 years worth of tax returns, usually Schedule C is how you as an OnlyFans employee or contractor would file a Schedule C on your tax returns,
Yep.
and that would show us a stable history of income.
Okay.
Now, if you made $100,000 on OnlyFans in 2020, and then said, "Oh well, I need my video recording studio for my feet," and I wrote off $75,000 for a home
Mm.
office, that leaves us with $25,000 that you reported to the IRS in taxable income.
Got it.
So we as the mortgage lender would have to use $25,000 worth of income for that year because that's what you reported to the IRS.
Yes. This
Yeah.
is something that I've run into, particularly with people who work in jobs that receive tips.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not all the time are you claiming all of your tips.
Of
and
course.
as much as that feels good on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes time to qualify for something like a mortgage,
Yes.
you have shot yourself in the foot because
Literally.
yeah,
Yep.
because you have made the government think that you are destitute
Yep.
and you can't afford anything. So why
Right.
buy that $700,000 house?
Yeah. I mean, we come across it a lot in this area with self-employed owners of businesses. Realtors are the same. And if you're thinking about buying a home within the next 2 years, you really want to report as much income as you can if you're
Okay.
self-employed.
Okay.
Now, that stings from a tax perspective because you have to pay more tax.
Right.
However, that allows the mortgage lender to give you credit for that income.
Right.
So what you don't want to happen is say, in 2 years, I'm going to buy a home and then continue writing off as much income as you
Oh,
can on your tax
gosh.
returns.
That would be me.
And then you really have your hopes up to buy a home. And then the
Don't put your
lender,
business on blast, girl.
I want to buy a home, Joe.
and then
But I
the lender
wrote
comes
everything
back
off.
and says, we can only give you credit for, $2,000 a month in income.
Damn.
Right.
So if you are considering going that route, I think it makes sense to talk to a mortgage lender sooner
A
rather than later.
professional.
Yeah.
Like yourself. Okay.
Yes. And just have a phone conversation and tell them where you're at. Now, if Franklin had been with a company similar to OnlyFans for
This is not
5
OnlyFans,
years or
similar.
more, then we could work based off of just 1 year of
Okay.
tax returns.
Oh, interesting.
So what I would have said is, hey, we're at the end of year 2022, and you just started with OnlyFans in June. And what we'll do is let's hold off until you file your 2022 tax returns. And again, I would disclose, if you write off all that income, keep in mind that's leaving us with less income to qualify you for.
Got it.
God.
So you can kind of read in between the lines there.
Yeah.
And understand, hey, we want to help you, but if you write off all of your income, that diminishes your purchasing power.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
I have a question for
So-
him since we're playing a game.
I
Shoot.
mean, this is
Okay.
this is a segment, sis.
Okay. I live in DC and I own a property, a primary, and I want to buy a second home in Baltimore. Approved or denied?
Tell me what type of property you live in Washington, D.C.
I live in a condo.
Okay.
hmm
And what type of property do you want to buy in Baltimore?
Maybe a single family home
Okay.
Is this your primary residence?
or a 3-unit.
Or a 3 unit. Okay. So
Similar, but not.
in that situation, so when you think about a
Which
second
one would I
home,
be approved on?
so you could potentially be approved for both.
Oh,
Now, whether it ultimately is a primary residence,
Mhm.
a second home, or an investment property, that's the catch there,
right.
because it needs to pass the smell test.
Okay.
If you live in DC, your business is in DC, your job's in DC, and you want to buy a property in Baltimore,
Mhm.
the underwriter is going to say, all right, number one, is this your primary residence?
Okay.
And
It won't be.
It won't be. Now, when we think about a second home, we really need to think about it as a vacation home.
Okay.
That's what a second home means for the most part. Now, it might be a situation where, Tracy, if your business headquarters was located in Baltimore.
I do own 2 multifamily units in Baltimore, and I
Okay.
do
So
stay.
bougie. So bougie.
I do stay all over the weekend a lot, actually,
Okay. All right.
because
So
I'm
you-
always back and forth
So
to
you
my
gotcha.
you
properties.
vacation in Baltimore?
Look, sometimes you have to do a staycation, okay?
That's
And
true.
you just don't want to go far. Harbor East is very nice. It's
bougie.
very grown and sexy.
Okay.
People don't sleep on Baltimore. You just have to know
You
where
do.
to go. Okay.
You sleep in Baltimore.
Listen,
Now, so
you can stay at my second home when I get it.
that's right. So the fact that you already have 2 investment properties
Uh-oh.
in Baltimore
I just put my stuff out
Give
there.
it to her.
could
Knock her down.
A single family home, though.
Denied.
a single family home, but the underwriter is still going to see, all right, you have 2 investment properties in Baltimore.
Decliner.
You live in DC.
Mhm.
You're buying a 3rd property in Baltimore.
Right?
Take a step back and just think about from an objective
Joe
standpoint.
just denied me, basically.
You definitely got denied. I would deny you too.
But now, but let's think about this. Even if we can't call it a second home,
hmm
we could still go the investment route.
I want to do a second home because I read somewhere I only have to put down 5%.
That's true, but
I don't want to put down 20,
okay.
and I will stay there.
Okay.
Is this your situation,
time
or is
to
this like
time.
a approved or denied?
I want to see if I'm approved so I can go to Joe and get
You
this
should go fill out an
loan.
application.
So
DawsonHomeLoans.com. Hit it up.
it would require a pretty strong letter of explanation from
Okay.
you
All right.
as to the situation with that. Now, keep in mind, if it was an investment property,
Mm-hmm.
we could credit you with 75% of the expected rental income
Okay.
on that property.
Trying to sweet talk me there. Okay.
So let's just say you
but
you
you're
wrote off
forcing
a
me
lot
to
of
put
your income.
20% down.
correct.
Okay.
But think about the long-term investment, Tracy.
Right.
We just got done talking about it.
Okay. You're right.
So she's approved?
Approved and denied.
Approved and denied.
Okay.
I would have to take a complete look at things.
We're going back
Okay.
we're going back to the underwriter, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we are. But
Stick it to her.
what, again, the underwriters that I work with want to make a transaction happen,
Right.
but they are not going to put their jobs on the line.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Well,
I'll put it
Harbor
that way.
East. I'll see you another time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beach Town, Harbor East.
Okay.
All right. Approved or denied. You have a newly graduated new grad.
Okay.
Parents are gifting them money.
Okay.
They have not found a job yet.
Oh.
And their parents are providing them gift funds for their property.
Okay.
And
So-
they have no job.
And only the grad would be on the loan.
Yes.
Or are they buying it in cash because the parents are buying it for them?
No, they're
So
not
if they're buying it in
rich.
cash, they're not
They
using
need a
you.
loan.
I know.
They need
I
a
know.
loan.
But I just want
They need the loan.
They need the loan.
Yeah, they need the
Okay.
loan. They need your money.
So that one,
Joe is thinking like
It's like a
could
Well, I'm
be
thinking about
approved.
it's like a
all
bead
the
of
diff-
sweat is on his forehead right
I'm just
now.
thinking about all the different scenarios and this being recorded. Like one little thing could switch it from an investment property to
Okay.
a second home to, we could potentially
Oh,
call it a primary
interesting.
residence in some situations. So
Okay.
let's just say that, the child, the graduate, was special needs
Mhm.
and was not able to support themselves financially by
Mhm.
themselves.
Okay.
A parent can buy another property for the child as a primary
as
residence.
that
This is
child's
good
primary
stuff.
residence.
Correct. And it would be a
Okay.
primary residence rate. And the opposite can happen where, let's just say, my mom is getting up there in age and basically, I may not want her to move in with me,
Right.
or she might want to stay down in Charleston, and I could potentially buy a property down there and it would be a primary residence if we could document, hey, she's not working, she has social security income, but it's really not enough to qualify her for this purchase.
Oh, interesting.
So there's ways to do that. Now, let's just say the grad is, perfectly well off and mom and dad are just well positioned to give them that money. More than likely it would be an investment property.
Okay.
Now, there could be an argument made if there's a lot of other family in this area. And let's just say mom and dad lived in Chicago, kid was wanting to live here. If there was a lot of other family in this area and mom and dad wanted to come and visit grandkids,
Mm-hmm.
come for a period of time and they're retired and all that, there's an argument to be made there
Got
for a
it.
second home.
Learn something new every day.
See,
Yeah.
approved or denied.
Let's talk some crazy stuff. What's some crazy stories you can share with us?
Oh man.
What have you seen? That you're like, really?
So I probably don't have as great of stories as Evelyn, your
Uh-huh.
past guest, has, just because she's sitting at the settlement table, and I mean, you are
Drama.
too, Franklin. So,
Heard some
bangs.
bangs.
but so I had an experience it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, where a buyer of mine was doing a VA loan. So she was retired military, and she had received discharge papers, an honorable discharge papers. And she was 100% disabled per the VA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that means is a portion of her VA funding fee is either exempt or the entire thing is exempt if you're at least 10% VA disabled. Now that could be, I lost like half of a pinky. It could mean something more serious like I lost a full limb or trauma, PTSD. It could mean a lot of different things. But she sent over a document to me, and it very much looked like there was whiteout on it.
Oh man!
Did she give you the original?
She didn't give me the original, but it was one of those things where she scanned
Lady,
it.
you didn't do a good job in the whiteout.
Like,
Sis, are you promoting her doing a better job?
No, I'm just like, oh, she got caught.
Let's just say it was clear she did not use the whiteout tape.
Ooh.
She used the liquid, and it was clear that like one portion of the paper was a different color than the other.
Oh no!
Specifically where the amount of income came in.
No.
And
she's gone back to subprime days.
So, you know, I didn't accuse her of anything, but I just verified everything in writing. Like, hey, it looks like you make this amount of money. Can you confirm? And basically, she confirmed all that for me. And of course, it's not my job to say like, hey, this looks forged.
Right.
It's not my job to do it, but seeing enough things,
You've seen it all.
I can come to my own conclusions, but ultimately, if the borrower is willing to put in writing like this is accurate, they're the ones committing the fraud, and I have no way to know one way or the other, right? So we get to the point where we're about to go to closing, and all of a sudden it sounds like she's getting cold feet. She doesn't want the property anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And she calls me and she's like, what if I didn't make the amount of money that was listed on my VA disability benefit letter? And I said, I'm not sure how that would be the case, given we've been working together for, you know, a couple months now. It's not, we didn't switch over calendar years. You're not getting paid more or less or anything like that. So can you clarify? And she was like, well, they just made a change to my income, and I'm going to send you over my new letter. And with the new income, I don't think I'm going to be able to qualify.
Okay.
And so she sent over another letter, without those.
The whiteout.
A cleaner version.
And I was like, yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Lady.
But
so her conscience.
But the dates were exactly the same on the letters. And again, I was just like, I'm not going to go down this path of, you know, accusing her or anything like that, but it seems pretty clear what's happening here.
Right.
And I was like, you're right. Without this income, you know, you don't qualify for the loan.
Right.
And she was like, I need, you know, a denial letter. And of course, the underwriter was like, well, now the underwriter told me, and she was like, this looks like she forged it to begin with. I was like, those are your words, not mine.
Right.
But either way, like, she doesn't have the income.
Right. She's not qualified.
Yeah. So that was a fun, you know, 2.5 months of working with her to ultimately not make that happen.
That's our life.
No money.
You know?
And no money.
No money off of that. Let's be real.
Buyers and sellers.
You're not running a charity here.
Still not make a dime.
But after that scenario, I mean,
she
came back to me like a month later asking to, you know, look at, you know,
less expensive properties,
pre-approve for another property, and I just said I just don't think we're a good fit.
Yeah.
It's
integrity is important.
Listen,
it's not worth the entire career over one transaction.
Yeah. If someone tells you we're not a good fit,
clearly you're not.
It's equivalent to like, it's
that
not
is
you,
like
it's me.
Like you have burnt that bridge.
There's a jugular moment right there.
Have you delivered that message?
I want to talk about some quick do's. Oh, okay. I want to talk about some do's and don'ts for the listeners, your buyers out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we covered a little bit of it, but don't hold back any information from your lender on the application, because they will find out.
Right.
Even if it's not child support or alimony coming out of their pay stubs, if the underwriter sees recurring withdrawals for the same amount to the same person month over month, they're going to ask about it. Now, based off of your previous episodes,
I love how he's calling us out on this shit.
I love that he
He's like,
listened
what
to
you said
the
on-
shows.
You said in October.
Yeah. So I think something was about, transferring money into your bank account
Mhm.
and the underwriter wanting to know where that came from.
Mhm.
So believe it or not, that goes back to the Patriot Act and money laundering.
Oh, Jesus.
So
I'm being
yeah,
scandalous.
You have to trace every cent, every dollar,
correct.
in and out.
Not every cent and every dollar, but if usually the idea is if it's more than 25% of your gross monthly income, and it's not obviously like this is your employment income coming in,
Mhm.
then the underwriter probably is going to ask where it came from.
Mhm.
So if you have an ATM deposit of $5,000, they're probably going to ask what that is.
Right.
The reason being is that they need to source all of the funds for the transaction.
Mhm.
So those are one of the things that you should just not hide, or my recommendation is just get all of your funds into one bank account and then let it sit there for 2 months prior to buying a home.
Right.
I guess 4 months prior to buying a home, so that they're in the account for 2 months, and then
Let it marinate.
you don't need to worry about the transferring of money. But if you transfer funds back and forth, the underwriter is probably going to ask where it's coming from.
Do or don't change your job while you're under contract for a home.
Mm.
I would say do not do that without consulting your loan officer.
Okay.
Now, there's been times where people have left their job or quit their job and told me after the fact that they did that.
Ugh.
And it created issues.
Who quits their job while they're trying to buy a home?
They,
Don't do it,
I don't know.
people.
I don't know.
That's a don't.
But then there's other times where someone says, hey, I've got a new job lined up
Mhm.
and my start date is the same day or the day after that I'm leaving my previous job, and it's the same salary, it's actually higher,
Mhm.
and that's what's
That
happening,
I understand.
essentially.
Yeah.
It's still important for the buyer to tell the loan officer about that, because if we're running around trying to get documents and verification of income from the previous employer,
Mhm.
and we find out, oh, that person doesn't work there anymore,
Mm.
it's just going to be a scramble.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can always re-verify the employment income and everything like that. We just want to make sure that you're earning the same amount of income. Definitely do not go from a W-2 employee to an OnlyFans contracting foot job.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of people out there on OnlyFans
They're
making some
making a ton of
cash.
cash.
You're going to need to get them some mortgages.
Yeah.
So we just opened up a niche for you.
Well,
Absolutely.
report that income.
Do or don't. You are under contract for a house and you go to Home Depot because you're buying things, and Home Depot says to you, you can save 20% on your purchase today if you open up this Home Depot card. Do or don't open up the card.
I would say while you're in line at Home Depot, call me and ask me if it's okay. More often than not, it is okay. But if you as a buyer are super close or super tight on the debt to income ratio, which lenders use to qualify you, that additional credit card being opened might create an issue. And it's going to create more of a headache for you as the home buyer, because now the underwriter is going to see a credit alert that pops up saying Home Depot just checked Franklin's credit scores. The underwriter is going to say, we need to make sure that Franklin didn't obtain any new debt. And if you just pulled open a new credit card and bought $2,000 and
Home Depot. Easy.
Yeah.
But what if you got a new credit card, so that increases your leverage, but don't use any of it?
It increases your debt.
But you opening up that credit card would create a credit check, and
Okay.
that could potentially lower your credit scores if we need to
Oh.
repull your credit report.
Okay.
Either way, if someone checks your credit scores or tries to, maybe your accounts are frozen, the underwriter is going to get some kind of alert saying so-and-so tried to check, Franklin or Tracy's credit report. Then we have to make sure that there wasn't new debt obtained.
Okay.
The goal behind that is making sure you didn't basically get a loan to pay for this loan.
Gotcha. Ooh, I didn't think of that about that.
It's like credit card advances.
But one thing people should not do is close their credit cards.
Do not close your credit cards.
And why not?
Because it erases all of your payment history.
Okay.
So if you think about it this way, let's just say you have 5 accounts on your credit report. All of those have different balances and credit limits. Now, that credit limit is going to be higher than the balance, hopefully, right? So if you delete or close one of your credit cards, you've just removed maybe not only that $500 balance on it, but maybe that $20,000 limit.
Mm-hmm.
So with the 4 remaining accounts, the amount of balances that you've used up versus the limit has gotten tighter.
Exactly.
And that can affect your credit scores.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes, buyers will think, oh, I'm going to pay off that credit card, and they pay it off, and then they close it. I'm like, you can pay it off, but don't close it.
No.
Should they pay off credit cards but not close it?
But you'll advise them what to do.
Yeah. It's definitely good to pay off your credit cards in full every single month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like if you're under contract, you're like, let me just get rid of this so I can have some credit to do whatever I need to do when buying a place.
Yeah.
Paying it off is fine. It's not going to trigger anything.
Well, it depends on how much, right? Because maybe they might need to leverage some of that cash in the reserves, or
right.
Yeah,
as long as they have enough to get to the closing table and do what they need to do after the fact, I'm totally fine with them paying off their credit card, especially considering what the interest rates are on credit cards. I don't want someone paying a 25% interest rate on their credit card when they don't have to.
Got it.
But they should consult you first.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more do's and don'ts?
There's so many. I could go on forever.
Kelly, do you have a do and don't? A do?
I like
whatever
it.
Joe tells you.
Do whatever Joe
Don't buy an
tells
airplane.
you. Don't buy an airplane.
Don't buy an airplane.
Why not?
Well,
a
I mean,
car.
for a lot of reasons, but don't buy an airplane throughout the mortgage process. If you're under contract to buy a home, don't buy an airplane.
I'm like, who would buy an airplane?
Yeah.
But Joe, you said
People do it.
someone
People do it.
has
They
and
buy jet skis. They buy boats. New
no
trucks.
major expenses when you're about to buy a home.
Don't co-sign on a loan for someone else.
Right.
Don't do it because all of that debt is adding up against you.
Right.
I feel like we can go for days,
Yes.
to be honest, which is a good thing because this is useful information. And I think the people that do listen to us are getting a lot of great nuggets from this conversation. So I think you're going to have to come back.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Okay. How was your first podcasting experience?
I was a little bit nervous.
Why?
I've never done a podcast before.
It's just us.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys are professionals, and I just wanted to come in here and
Egos
impress
ready.
you.
Make us
and-
proud.
Yeah.
You did.
You did a fantastic job. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Of course. For you, anything.
Oh.
Here we go. Making it weird.
I'm just trying to get you to blush.
And Franklin's on camera. He doesn't like his lighting tonight. So
No, it's garbage. It's hot trash.
Oh no.
Well, I look like hot trash.
Well,
Thank you, Kelly, for
everything.
Everything. Just being a cleaner.
Everything
Yeah.
that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you for being you.
Kelly is the brains behind
Ooh.
Dawson Home Loans.
I love it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You're a great
I just get out there and
team.
I'm like, Kelly, what should I talk about? Kelly's like, how about this? I'm like, okay.
So tell everyone how they can follow you or
Yeah.
contact
Find you,
you.
yeah.
Absolutely. So at Dawson Home Loans
Okay.
on Instagram and www.dawsonhomeloans.com.
You should go there to fill out that application for Baltimore.
I already
Yeah.
started an application with Joe. I'm halfway through and then I it's out there somewhere. I'll start a new one.
You can,
with him.
yeah. Let's just start a new one.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode. This is our last episode for the year.
Yes. Be
man.
sure to
So-
download and follow us on Instagram, The Reluctant Hams.
And happy
Yes.
holidays, everyone, and happy New Year.
Yeah.
Be
coming-
safe.
Yeah,
We're going to come back with some New Year's stories.
Yeah, I'll be in Miami.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm jealous.
You're going to have some stories.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you, and have a great holiday. Thanks,
We'll
Joe, for
see you in
coming.
2
Thank you
weeks.
for having me.
Absolutely. All
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.